Today's order paper is as follows. We have one ministerial statement and of course 7 questions. These are questions of ordinary nature, understanding order 80.
And we have a motion that is expected to be moved by Mwandi Member of Parliament, Ms. Siveso Sefulo, urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the agreement on the operationalization for the Southern African Development Community Regional Development Fund for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Monday, 9th June 2025.
Yes, indeed, and Matimba, just to remind our viewers that we also do expect announcements if there will be any urgent matters without notice, if there will be any, and of course one ministerial statement, and this ministerial statement is expected to be rendered by the Minister of Energy on the electricity situation in the country.
The first question for answer, understanding order 80. This is question number 309 on the order paper today, is expected to come from Mpika, Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapianga, and he's directing his question to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. He wants to find out a question in 2 parts, whether the government has any plans to establish a mini civic center at Chilongo in Mpika district, and in part B, if so, when the plans will be implemented.
Question 310 is expected to come from Mr. Chinga Miutu. He is a Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, and he has a question to the Minister of Justice. He wants to find out how many local courts were in Kalabo district as of December 2023, and how many are operational, how many were not operational, and D, why the local courts were not operational, and when the local courts will be operational.
Question 311 is expected to come from Katombola Member of Parliament, Mr. Dr. Clement Andeleki. He's directing his question to the Minister of Transport and Logistics. He wants to find out a question in 3 parts, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the Mulowezi railway line, which is in a deplorable state. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and what the cost of the project is.
Again, Mr. Chinga Miutu, Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, is expected to ask a question 312, and this time around, the Honorable Member wants to find out from the Minister of Green Economy and the Environment what measures the government is taking to enhance research on climate change mitigation in the country.
Question 313 will come from Mulowezi Member of Parliament, Mr. Raphael Mabenga. He's directing his question to the Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts. He wants to find out a question in 4 parts. How many professional golfers the country produced from 2016 to 2021, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate golf infrastructure countrywide, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and what measures are being taken to improve the sport in the country.
Question 314 is expected to come from Mr. Remember Mutale, Chitambo Constituency Member of Parliament. He has a question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. He wants to find out in 2 parts. In A, when the construction of infrastructure for Chitambo District Administration Block will commence, and B, what the cause of the delay in commencing the project is.
The last question on the order paper today, this is question number 315, is expected to come from Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Chinga Miutu. He's directing his question to the Minister of Education. He wants to find out how many teachers in public schools countrywide were specialized in the following subjects as of August 2024. These are mathematics, biology, physics and chemistry. And in part B, the Member of Parliament for Kalabo Central wants to find out whether the government has any plans to recruit additional teachers specialized in mathematics, biology, physics and chemistry in order to enhance the performance of pupils in public schools.
Yeah, and of course, just remind our viewers that we can also follow the proceedings on our official Facebook page, that's at the National Assembly of Zambia. And if you have not yet liked the page, we advise that you do so. And of course, you can also follow the proceedings on DSTV channel 272, Topstar channel 5, and GoTV channel 28.
And in case you want to access the order paper, this order paper can be accessed at the National Assembly of Zambia website, which is www.parliament.gov.zm.
Yes, indeed. So in the nutshell, that's the outlook of the business which is expected to be transacted on the floor of the House today, 12th June 2025, one ministerial statement and 7 questions under Standing Order 80. These are ordinary questions.
And anytime from now, we'll be able to see Madam Speaker's procession making way to the chamber. As you can see on your screen, those are live pictures coming your way right here on Parliament Television. So just now, we take you to the floor of the House as we wait for business to commence. Good afternoon, and keep watching Parliament Television.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Tendency of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, and strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hand. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members. I have two announcements to make. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Frandon School in Lusaka district. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. You may take your seats. Thank you. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to inform the House that as part of the ongoing constitutional reform process, the National Assembly of Zambia, through the Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, have organized a one-day awareness raising and capacity building workshop. The purpose of the workshop is to enhance members' understanding of the proposed amendments to the Constitution. All honorable members are requested to attend the workshop, which will take place on Monday, 16th June 2025, at Parliament buildings, starting at 09 hours. Honorable members are urged to participate, to be punctual for the meeting. I encourage all members to take full advantage of this important training. I thank you. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yesterday in Phoenix FM, Zambia, there was a heading silicosis screening suspended at KCM, over 2.5 million debt owed to the company. Madam Speaker, I raise this as an urgent matter to the Minister of Mines. Since he's not present, the leader of government business in the House, the Vice President. Madam Speaker, silicosis is an examination that is done to the miners to determine the extent to which they have been exposed to silicon dust in the mines and other lung diseases. Now, the suspension of this screening exercise by the Health Institute of Zambia that looks at the occupational therapy issues means thousands of the workers in the mines are curtailed from accessing this service, putting their health status at risk because they need this kind of screening on a regular basis. Not only that, it affects also their families if they are banned from going to the mining plants. Not only that, our economy, which depends on the production of copper, it is also affected. Madam Speaker, I seek your indulgence if the Minister could actually clarify on the suspension of this silicosis suspension, especially that it borders on human life and also on the economy of the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Solwezi East. I suggest that you can use other means. You can put in an urgent question, which the Honorable Minister will be able to attend to once raised. The next one, the Honorable Member for Feira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just a few days ago, I had a near disaster in terms of calamity. About 20 people's lives were almost lost along Kavalamanja Road. This is a road that leads to Kavalamanja Ward, where every day we have a commemoration, which is an international event between Zambia and Zimbabwe. This road is quite useful for the people there because it's also used for transporting possible evacuations of patients. Madam Speaker, this road is in a very deplorable state. And I know that because of the threat to the life that we experienced, it is important for the Minister of Local Government to address this House and the people of Feira why, even when this road was actually funded under road connectivity, it has not been done. I seek your indulgence. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Feira. I understand that this issue has been raised as an urgent question and is being processed. So let's wait for it to be brought to the House and then it will be addressed. So I don't know whether you are the one who raised this or somebody else, but it seems like somebody has already raised this as an urgent question. So we wait. When it comes, then you'll be able to ask questions. Thank you very much. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Energy to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to update the nation through this August House on the matter of great national importance, our shared energy security. Zambia has been grappling with serious electricity deficit. This deficit, which was caused by severe El Nino-related drought, has deeply affected our electricity subsector, which relies heavily on hydropower, which accounts for over 80% of the total installed power generation capacity of 3,777 megawatts. This deficit, Madam Speaker, has negatively impacted households, businesses, industries, and essential public services throughout the country. Under the visionary leadership of the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the new donor government is fully committed to action and service delivery. We have put in place broader and well-planned measures that will ensure energy security. Madam Speaker, our focus is very clear. One, to stabilize electricity supply for households, businesses, industries, and essential public services. To diversify and expand our electricity mix in the medium to long term. And number three, to achieve universal access to clean, sustainable, and reliable energy for all by 2030. And lastly, currently, state of electricity generation and demand. Madam Speaker, the average electricity generation as of 30th May 2025 stood at 1,806 megawatts against the average national demand of 2,400 megawatts, resulting in deficit of 594 megawatts. You may wish to note that the 2024-2025 rain season was better than the 2023-2024 season. However, the inflows into the reservoirs are still significantly lower than the historical averages needed to sustain optimal power generation. Madam Speaker, based on the water situation in the reservoirs, allow me to provide a quick overview of the current power generation at our major hydropower plants in comparison to December 2024. Kafiwe Gorge, with 990 megawatts installed capacity, is generating 513 megawatts compared to 393 megawatts in 2024. Kafiwe Gorge Lower, with 750 megawatts installed capacity, is generating 243 megawatts compared to 183 megawatts in 2024. Kariba North Bank, with 1,080 megawatts installed capacity, is generating 553 megawatts compared to 104 megawatts in 2024. Victoria Falls, with 108 megawatts installed capacity, is generating 108 megawatts at full capacity compared to 45 megawatts in 2024. Iteji, with 120 megawatts installed capacity, is generating 51 megawatts compared to 25 megawatts in 2024. Madam Speaker, implementation of load shedding. Given the drought in the 2023-2024 season, ZESCO introduced load shedding, a measurement to ensure access to the limited electricity while protecting essential services through this difficult situation. Madam Speaker, ZESCO has continued supplying electricity to key sectors of the economy such as mine, health, water utilities, and irrigation-based agriculture. In this regard, the New Dawn government, through ZESCO, is taking action for effective management load shedding, with retail consumers currently receiving an average of 7 hours of electricity supply daily on rotational basis. To this effect, ZESCO has resumed publications of load shedding schedules and constantly informing customers. Madam Speaker, let me talk about the challenge that has affected ZESCO efficiency of electricity supply. 1, vandalism. Vandalism of electrical installations is a crime, a destructive act that undermines our collective efforts to stabilize electricity supply. For example, Madam Speaker, between January and May 2025, ZESCO has recorded 1,156 cases of vandalism, resulting in 2 losses estimated at 31 million kwacha and prolonged electricity outages in affected areas. This criminal behavior, Madam Speaker, not only cost the nation valuable resources, but also direct impacts power distribution. In this regard, the government has stepped up actions to protect these national assets through increased community sensitization, patrols, monitoring, reinforcement of power infrastructure, installation to enhance security. Let me take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to sternly warn people who are involved in the act of vandalism, vandalizing electricity installation, to desist from this criminal activity. Otherwise, the law will catch up with them. Short-term measures that are put in place. Madam Speaker, in the short term, the government continues to take decisive steps to reduce the impact of the power deficit and stabilize electricity supply by implementing the following measures. A, power imports. We are currently importing power from SAP to support our domestic generation. Over the last 6 months, Zambia has been importing an average of 200 megawatts. Alongside, the country has clawed back 330 megawatts of exports from 520 megawatts in 2024. To date, we are prudently managing exports of 190 megawatts under existing agreements. The exports are crucial for maintaining regional energy stability, providing critical and necessary financial lifeline to ZESCO. Madam Speaker, questions continue to arise as to why exports have continued despite the country experiencing a deficit. Allow me to further elaborate the reason behind this measure. The interconnected power system, ZESCO operates in an interconnected system that allows for regional system stability according to the SAP rules and regulations. We cannot isolate ourselves from the region and shut down exports and imports without disturbing the interconnected power system. In fact, Madam Speaker, currently we are net importers of power. Financing obligations. Madam Speaker, the revenues from the existing export contracts are tied to the loan services agreement and power projects currently in development. Long-term contracts. We have pre-existing mutual contracts which have to honor, otherwise face financial penalties which can have a long-standing effect on our national utility and external debt. Madam Speaker, on the emergency tariffs, as part of the short-term measures, we introduced emergency tariffs to contribute towards power imports in order to mitigate the deficit. This measure is also expected to promote energy efficiency among consumers, persuading them to switch to other alternative sources of energy, such as liquefied petroleum gas for cooking and solar energy. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, this measure aims to channel the power saved to productive sectors of the economy in order to ensure business continuity. Net metering. Madam Speaker, the major part of our energy plan is the introduction of net metering. Madam Speaker, I would love honorable members of this august House to pay attention to this. This is where citizens who generate electricity through solar installations can feed the surplus into the national grid and become active players in solving the energy deficit that we are facing as a country. So far, the following has been recorded. 840 applicants have initiated this system. 535 applications awaiting finalization for various reasons such as incompatible inverters. 305 completed applications. 83 prosumers, those who produce, now connected to the national grid. My call to action, Madam Speaker, net metering presents an investment opportunity to members as we are leaders to provide, to be a role model in our communities. To members of Parliament of this august House and all privileged citizens, I therefore call upon all well-meaning citizens, be it in government employees, private sector, and other corporate leadership to install solar solution at their homes and business premises as a goodwill gesture and commitment to clean and reliable energy. Madam Speaker, we are also fast-tracking the launch of the new power projects in response to the Republican President's call to deliver 1,000 megawatts of solar power by end of the year in order to ensure security of supply. Already, Madam Speaker, 100 megawatts Chisamba solar project has been completed by ZESCO subsidiary Kariba North Bank Extension Power Corporation to subsidiary. To be commissioned very soon by the Republican President, among other projects leading to this call are as follows. Solar Sanctuary, 25 megawatts in Serenje district, which is expected to be completed by the third quarter of 2025. ZESCO Mansa Solar Project, 50 megawatts by fourth quarter of 2025. Joma Solar Phase 1, 50 megawatts in Choma District to be completed by fourth quarter of 2025. ZESCO Kasupe, 7.5 megawatts, and Shangombo, 2 megawatts by fourth quarter of 2025. CEC Solar in Intip, Phase 2, 136 megawatts in Kitwe District by fourth quarter of 2025. Micro Generation Projects, Phase 1, 95 megawatts, independent power producers by fourth quarter of 2025. Gate Fit Projects, 120 megawatts from Gate Fit by fourth quarter of 2025. In the medium-term measures, Madam Speaker, Micro Generation Project Phase 2, which will offer us 90 megawatts by second quarter of 2026. Solar Generation Phase 2, Solar Sanctuary Phase 2, 25 megawatts by second quarter of 2026. Rural electrification projects, 2 megawatts, off-grid renewable energy projects by fourth quarter 2026. Chisamba Solar Phase 2, 100 megawatts, second quarter 2026. Siabonga 100 megawatts by second quarter 2026. Kafue Gorge Lower 100 megawatts by third quarter 2026. Mamba Solar 100 megawatts by second quarter 2026. And many more to come, Madam Speaker. I should also underscore the fact that we have Phase 2 of a 300 megawatts coal-fired plant at Mamba scheduled to be completed by second quarter 2026. These projects clearly shows the New Dawn administration vision to deliver sustainable and stable power across Zambia. Madam Speaker, allow me to state the New Dawn government absolutely commitment to deliver additional generation in 2025 and beyond, Our focus for recovery is clear: increased generation from diversified sources, enhanced grid resilience, and the national commitment to energy sufficiency and surplus. Madam Speaker, let me conclude by emphasizing that this is a temporal challenge. Through unity, strong leadership, smart planning, we shall overcome. Under the clear guidance of President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, we are taking bold and effective steps to deliver energy security, economic growth, and better lives for all Zambians. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Energy. The Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And the Honorable Minister, thank you so much for that statement. Madam Speaker, Zambia has been in the dark.
Oh, the Honorable members, let's reduce on the talking. You may proceed, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, as a nation, we've been living in the dark for almost a year now, for over a year now. And the Minister of Energy has been issuing statements after statements. There has never been any difference whatsoever. Businesses have closed and they keep on closing. Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister of Energy why it is very important for him to continue on the rhetorical trajectory than alleviating the problem that we have as a country. Madam Speaker, our people are suffering due to lack of electricity. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, I thought the Honorable members were listening very well to what I was trying to update the nation, including the leaders who are seated here. I'm not just giving mere statements. I'm giving them the actions that we have taken in order to address the power deficit. I've tabulated a number of activities that we are doing.
Quality.
So how can that be just a mere statement?
Quality. Quality.
Are we
In the same place.
Are we together in terms of providing leadership to our people?
They are somewhere else.
If they are behind, then they must pull up their socks to understand what this government is doing. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order. The Honorable Member from Bavala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And may I join the nation in sending the people of Mbabara's message of condolences to you, Madam Speaker, and the Ngurube family on the loss of our crack, as well as the Lungu family on the loss of Mr. Edika Chagwalungu. Madam Speaker, thank you so much, Minister, for that statement, which we now wish, which we wish to commend. But the Minister, you talked about vandalism as one of the major causes of the problems we're having on electricity. And I note that the Vandalism Act was just amended in 2024 to to try and make it more severe, penalties for vandals and the like. What action is the ministry doing to ensure that the vandals get these stiffer penalties, and if the penalties are not enough, maybe we need to make everything life imprisonment? Are you considering that kind of action to ensure that we have saved 24 hours and get rid of vandalism? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Indeed, vandalism has been one of the factors that has caused a number of pain to our citizens. Madam Speaker, the first step that we have taken is to look at punitive measures against culprits. We have strengthening the punitive measures that we have put in place. Very soon it will be presented, and the Cabinet has already approved. What is remaining is to present before this House for further implementation. And also, Madam Speaker, like I stated in my statement, we have enhanced sensitization by actually bringing in our youths to participate in sensitizing our citizens to avoid such kinds of vices. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given. Honorable Minister, in the event of power deficit in the country, we have seen ZESCO designing load shedding schedules so that consumers can be treated fairly and equitably. Now, speaking for my constituents, Kwacha, I think this is just on paper, because most areas, especially Riverside, Kwacha, Bulangirilo, despite having a very clear-cut schedule in place, these places are going without power for days. So I don't know, Honorable Minister, what can be attributed to this poor or non-adherence of the power load shedding schedules. I need your comment, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Indeed, Madam Speaker, we at times experience such kind of complaints, but the major issue here is first, also areas that are affected, we need to enhance in terms of reporting to ZESCO. Because sometimes it's the information flow also contributes to that. The other reason is the vandalism that I have talked about is one of the factors that is affecting not our government or ZESCO adhering to the schedules. Thirdly, also, we have just said we are enhancing to make sure that schedules are implemented the way we have set them. So, Madam Speaker, it's the issue of enhancing our communication, and also to the communities must be alert with this vandalism that is going around. Because sometimes areas are being load-shedded for more than maybe 2 days. Maybe there's an installation that has been vandalized. So all those factors are contributing to this load shedding our citizens are facing. So my appeal is that we need all of us to play the role in contributing to address these challenges that we are facing. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Most grateful. Honorable Minister, thank you for your statement. It's very progressive, very interesting, and clearly from this challenge as a country, there are some solutions that are coming out from there. but I think you are not supposed to be too comfortable, because I heard you talk about, for example, the Zambia solar plant. The off-takers are FQM. So it's not like that power is going to come to the Zambian people per se. But I wanted to draw your attention to a product that has come out of this challenge we have had, which is supposed to benefit us, the customers. And that is a net metering program, a very important program, Madam Speaker, which has come out of this challenge. But again, this government has failed to take advantage of it, considering the figures that you are giving us as to the number of applicants and those that are supposed to start benefiting. What is your ministry doing about this, so that the Zambians do not just feel like they're paying, they are also getting something out of this investment in the energy sector, which can highly benefit their families? What is your ministry doing, considering what you have learned from ZESCO as a problem? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Quality. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member, for that question. First of all, I want to assure you that concerning the Zambia solar power plant, even if the off-takers are mines, or I would say when we feed the mines, if the mines are able to get that power, what we are generating as a country helps us to feed to our residentials.
Quality.
So that is the advantage which is there,
Yeah.
because they are getting the power from the national grid. Coming to your question, indeed, I want to start with the honorable members of parliament. Yes, this is a new idea, Madam Speaker. Certain information was lacking amongst all of us, because it's not just the question of an ordinary inverter, or probably, you see, maybe you have just installed 200 kilowatts, or maybe you have just installed, 3 kilowatts, then you are able to go on the net metering. So we are trying to encourage, ZESCO have come up with a plan to explain what is that is required for someone to be connected on the net metering. What type of an inverter that you are supposed to have, what type of energy that you need to supply for you to be connected for net metering. So it is a new idea. Yes, we may have delayed, but we are working hard to make sure that, especially with you members of parliament who are in the privileged position to start benefiting from the net metering, we are going to provide, I'm going to make sure that all members of parliament are given the right information which will facilitate you to be connected on the net metering. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, I'm rising on a point of order pursuant to 71. Madam Speaker, just as my Honorable Fokantansha said, this is the best time that would have utilized the net metering the Minister is talking about. Now, Minister, can you be factual to the Zambians and to this House? What is happening with the net?
The Honorable Member for Nyimba, is it a point of order or you are asking a question?
No, it is, Madam Speaker.
So
Minister,
there is a point of order.
Minister, are you in order? Madam Speaker, is the Minister in order to tell us that the net metering is something we can benefit from, when he knows very well that the net metering, it's a nightmare for this country. In fact, sorry, Madam Speaker, let me end up there. Thank you.
Now, I don't know the basis upon which the point of order has been raised. That is a what? Oh, okay. So I think Maybe what I can say by way of guidance, Honorable Minister, since you are saying you want the honorable members to be involved, I suggest that you avail that information to all the honorable members, including the application forms. Because I know that a lot of people have installed solar power, and right now it's just going to waste. So if you can do that, maybe you can get something. We can avail that information. So we make progress. The Honorable Minister was still asking, or he had finished. So the next Honorable Member from Ghana.
Honorable Minister, in your statement, you have clearly stated how much power you are generating against the demand, leaving us to a deficit of 500 megawatts, according to your statement. Now, in your statement, you have not mentioned as to how much is being imported. I remember last year, you announced to the country that you were adjusting tariffs so that the citizens could contribute to ZESCO raising money for government or for ZESCO to be able to import. Honorable Minister, the Minister of Finance and yourself did inform this August House that you had started importing power from many countries, some of which includes Mozambique. I am reliably informed here, Honorable Minister, that as opposed to government importing directly from EDM of Mozambique, Canona Energy is the one importing and ZESCO is now buying from Canona Energy. Why would you, Honorable Minister, allow ZESCO to be the one to be buying from a private company, or rather, why would you allow a private company to be the one importing power from EDM using state infrastructure, ZESCO infrastructure, and you, through ZESCO, are buying from Canona Energy at 12 cents when Canona is buying at 9 cents? Why would you allow that? And why have you not included this issue in your ministerial statement? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I don't know how many questions. Those were about 3. So the Honorable Minister, you have, you can pick one question, but if you can address all the questions. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member, for that question. For those questions. Madam Speaker, what we are importing, in my statement, I have stated that ZESCO is importing 200 megawatts. That's what I've said. That's what I've said. Simple. 200 megawatts to add to our deficit. Southern power pool. So that's, Madam, that's what we are importing. And if somebody is getting information from nowhere, it's very difficult for me to justify them here. I can't include them in my statement other than the factual information that is available to me. And we should also put in mind, Madam Speaker, that we have created reforms that allows private players to participate in the energy sector. These reforms are very clear. So we must understand what the government is doing. And it's very important, Madam Speaker, to understand the type of reforms that we have introduced in the energy sector before you start criticizing the government. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shangobo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Energy for that very good statement, where even us as Shangombo, we are beneficiaries of his good works and the New Dawn government's good works. However, Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister of Energy when he is going to Shangombo to go and officially officiate at the ceremony of the solar plant, which is completed more than 6 months ago, and the people are waiting for that very good initiative by the New Dawn government. When, Honorable Minister, are you going to officiate? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of, I nearly said Shakum. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. I think that is our number one Kwenyu. People, Madam Speaker, are following what we are doing.
Meaning?
Madam Speaker, that means people have to tick the best thing that we have done in the energy sector, Madam Speaker. And just to respond to the question, Madam Speaker, we are just trying to make sure that we put everything in place before we go there to officiate officially. But it will not take too long. Very soon we'll be in Changombo to officially officiate the 2 megawatts in Changombo. So also, Honorable Pondu, make sure that you follow the suit in your constituency. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for your ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, I'm alive to the fact that my question has been asked by my colleague, Honorable Member for Mbawala, and that is on vandalism. Indeed, 1,156 cases of vandals costing 31 million to the institution is quite colossal. Madam Speaker, I just want to find out from the Honorable Minister that we say that it takes 2 to tango. We have concentrated on the people that actually vandalizes the ZESCO installations. But we have given a blind eye, Minister, to where they take these components or this equipment that they vandalize from ZESCO. What is your ministry doing? Just as you have said that very soon you'll be bringing an amendment to this House so that maybe we can make these punishments more stiffer. What are you going to do about the people that actually buys these ZESCO installations, to which, in my view, are the ones who actually encourage the people to go and vandalize and come and sell to them? Honorable Minister, if stealing a cow can be unbearable, why can't we take that route? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that question. Indeed, Madam Speaker, that's why I've said we are coming, we are bringing the suggestions that we have decided to put in the punitive measures. So we are not just going to concentrate on those who vandalize, but even the off-takers are also being considered. As we present, you will see how we are going to put punitive measures against those who buys these products. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kankoyo.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, from the information the Honorable Minister of Energy has given us, I can see that between December and 31st May, we have increased the power generation by 728 megawatts. However, Madam Speaker, we haven't seen an additional supply or increase in the number of hours we are receiving at home. So I want to find out from the Minister of Energy, where is the extra 728 megawatts going for us not to have an additional supply of electricity at home? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, if you check December 2024 to see how much power we are supplying, we were providing 2 hours, 3 hours. That's the hours we were supplying power. But with this increase, that's why we are able to maintain these 7 hours. We moved from 3 hours to 7 hours. And we are making sure that we maintain these 7 hours properly without getting back to 3 hours and 2 hours. And some of these waters we are talking about, Madam Speaker, is the waters that now we're trying to recover the damage that was experienced during the drought. So people may think that this water that we have received this season was supposed to increase even the hours. But they shouldn't forget that when we were going through the drought, there was very serious damage that was caused by this drought. And these waters is more or less like we are trying to fill up our reservoirs for us to continue, supplying these 7 hours. So people must be patient to see the measures that we have put in place, how we are going to change the supply of power to this nation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And with your indulgence, just permit me to join my colleagues to be on record by conveying my condolences on the behalf of the people of Shiwangandu to the Ngurube family for the loss of a public servant who was dedicated to save the nation, Mr. Roy Ngurube. And in the same vein, I know it's very difficult for me to even find suitable words of conveying my condolences to the Lung family for the loss of one of the gallant sons of this country who emerged from amongst us in this August House as Member of Parliament to become a national leader and in the President's office, Dr. Edgar Chagwa. We hope his soul will rest in peace. Madam Speaker, my question to the Minister is on the short-term measures that are shared with us, which it says are meant to mitigate the challenges the people have been experiencing, which has a detour on businesses, especially on small businesses, road shedding. Minister, you said you are importing about 200 megawatts from the Southern Power Pool. And what is clear is that the tariffs you are paying for the power you are importing and the tariffs at which you are supplying the power are certainly not matching. What is clear is that the power you're importing is being supplied at the tariffs ranging from 6-8 cents per kilowatt. How are we and where are we getting the money to meet that gap of the power that you are already supplying at lower tariffs than you are importing it? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, the Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, this is the more reason why we are looking at reforms for ZESCO. And as we are talking, Madam Speaker, we have put a five-year tariff plan to keep on reviewing these tariffs that ZESCO are charging. And in doing so, we will make sure that ZESCO will start providing tariffs that are cost reflective. This is an issue that requires systematically be implemented. And we have left ourselves to make sure that we help our utility companies to stand up and start sustaining its operationals. It is really a difficult situation for ZESCO because indeed the power that we buy it at a high cost. And now to distribute it, to supply it, because of where we are coming from, these things have been, reforms were just left like that, And these issues that were affecting ZESCO were not being addressed. Hence, ZESCO is struggling with these resources to sustain the utility. But this administration has made sure that methodically we keep on, reviewing these tariffs ZESCO are implementing. With time, Madam Speaker, things will be okay. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for that ministerial statement. Honorable Minister, you have given us the current power generation capacity in the major hydropower stations, although you have not mentioned the generation capacity currently in many hydropower stations such as Musonda, Kishimba, just to mention but a few. You also mentioned about the Mamba energy thermal power. I want to find out from the Minister whether Mamba is on schedule because this project is supposed to take 2 years and we are remaining with very few years before, few months before July 2026. So is Mamba Quarries on schedule? Because the 300 megawatts I think is significant, to which significant, if it's added to national grid, I think we'll be able to resolve the current challenges. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, the updates that we are getting from Mamba Energy indicates that they are on schedule and they are likely to complete Mamba Phase 2 by second quarter of 2026. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, indeed, this is quite a thorny issue. In my constituents, Madam Speaker, we go for about 22 hours without power. Madam Speaker, our colleagues in the East African power pool have got surplus power, because the biggest hydropower plant on the continent is actually in the East African power pool. Madam Speaker, the previous government embarked on embarked on a multi-million-dollar project that is the Kenya-Tanzania-Zambia interconnector. Madam Speaker, and some works were done on that interconnector. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister how far or when is the Kenya-Tanzania-Zambia interconnector coming on board so that we can tap into the surplus power from the East African power pool. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Energy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Madam Speaker, Zambia-Tanzania interconnector is a project that we have taken seriously and very committed. As we are talking, Madam Speaker, the processes have advanced, and even the money has already been committed. All we are doing is, Madam Speaker, is to finalize on the contractors, on the contractor that we are going to award. So evaluation is in, there's work in progress. So things are moving towards that interconnector. And also, I want to put it very clear, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member has a wrong information. There was no works which was already executed on the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector. This is when we are pushing for the works to start. There are no works, because if there was any works, which contractor was doing that? So I think we need to be realistic by informing the nation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let's make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member from Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question number 309.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. The area member of parliament for Mpika Central, Honorable Kapianga, asked the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development a question in two parts. A, whether the government has any plans to establish a mini civic center at Chilonga in Mpika district. And B, if so, when will the plans be implemented? The response, Madam Speaker, from the ministry indicates that the government has no immediate plans to establish a mini civic center at Chilonga in Mpika district because Chilonga is close to Mpika Civic Center. As such, people can easily access services of the local authority from there and vice versa. On B, no implementation is planned for reasons highlighted in the above. A. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I'm grateful to you, Honorable Minister, for that response. Honorable Minister, Chilonga is not closer to Mpika CBD and the Civic Center. It's about 35 kilometers away. Therefore, establishing a mini civic center in that area would actually enhance revenue collection for the council, and its importance cannot be overemphasized. So, wouldn't it be okay and important going forward if your ministry could incorporate that good idea to ensure that the council has a broadened revenue base? Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Rural Development, Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. And Honorable Member, thank you for that very important question and also the insights. Because our agenda, our drive is that these local authorities going forward, they should up their own resource. So it's a very brilliant idea that you are bringing to light that in Chilonga, the local authority can have some sort of revenue. Madam Speaker, it's not only Mpika district that finds itself in such a situation. I'll give you a typical example of Sinazongwe. Sinazongwe Boma is to the other areas about 150 kilometers. So this why maybe this, not maybe, this why, so the reason the Honorable Minister of Justice is trotting the country in trying to look at these vast areas in terms of constituencies, so that we also embark on delimitation, so that at least management of these areas can be easy. So I implore my dear colleague to say, please, let's buy into the delimitation process. It will help us a lot. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Although the Minister just commented what I wanted to ask. Minister, now that you have realized that Chilonga to Mpika, it's far, it's about 35 or 36 kilometers, and there are districts like also Nyimba, where I've got Kachorola, which is 40 kilometers to the Boma, Chipembe, which is another 40 kilometers from the Boma. So meaning you've got this administrative area about over 100 kilometers, which should be administered by the single council. Now that you have realized that we need to go in such kind of arrangement, like these other countries we have across the world, do you have any plans to come up with a legislation to Parliament, or come up with a motion to Parliament, so that we start coming up with satellite
offices which can act as civic center, performing the same job the civic center is performing, so that we can enhance the realization of enough resources, because you know that local authorities are struggling. So that for us to raise much needed resources, we need to come up with these plans. Do you have any plans so that we start the ball rolling as of yesterday? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. And the Honorable colleague, thank you very much for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, under decentralization, development starts from bottom, meaning the local authorities or districts, they come up with what is termed as integrated development plans. So that's where the issue starts from. So if, for instance, in Mpika and also in Nyimba, they come up with this form of a developmental plan, submitted to the ministry, maybe together we can find a way forward. Indeed, our constituencies, our districts are quite vast, where a lot of resources which could have easily been collected in a more faster and easier way becomes difficult. So through the integrated development plans, we can look at these issues collectively. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Next question, the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 310.
The Honorable Minister of Justice.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and again, condolences to the family of the late 6th President of the Republic of Zambia, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. May his soul rest in peace, as well as to the family, and also condolences to the family of the crack, Mr. Roy Ngulube. He will be forever missed for his work. The question, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member, Mr. Miyutu, asked how many local courts there were in Kalabo District as of December 2023, how many were operational, how many were not operational, why the local courts at sea were not operational, and lastly, Madam Speaker, when the local courts at sea will be operational. And as Minister of Justice, in collaboration with the judiciary, the answers are as follows. As for A, I wish to inform the House that Kalabo District had 11 local courts as of December 2023. And in B, out of those 11, 9 are operational in Kalabo District, which leaves the 2 not being operational, namely the Lutulilo and the Kapondo local courts. Lutulilo and Kapondo local courts are non-operational due to the dilapidation of infrastructure, Madam Speaker, and indeed to my fellow colleague. The operationalization of Lutulilo and Kapondo local courts will only be done once the 2 court buildings are rehabilitated. In this regard, the judiciary, as in its midterm expenditure framework budget policy paper that was represented for 2025 and 2027, made a provision for capital projects to cater for the construction and rehabilitation of subordinate and local court buildings and staff houses countrywide. And I think I also did talk to the member previously, similar to the question. The plan to rehabilitate Lutubilo and Kwaponda local code is part of the aforementioned mid-term expenditure framework budget policy paper of 2025 and 2027. This implementation, however, Madam Speaker, will only commence once all the outstanding stalled capital projects awarded in the 2010 and 2011 are tendered in the year of 2022 are completed, which were tendered, pardon me, in the year of 2022 are completed. I submit.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for the responses by the Honorable Minister. However, I would like to find out further whether the Minister is aware that there are structures at Turiro which were for the Roman Catholic Church, and they have willingly surrendered those structures to the government to use as part of the to help in the delivery of justice. So I don't know whether the Minister is aware of that arrangement, because the officer the officer in charge is aware of this situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Justice.
Honorable Member, this is great news to our ears, and as Minister of Justice, in collaboration with the judiciary, we will be following up so that we can use those alternative buildings to ensure that justice is brought closer to the people. Thank you for that initiative and the donation that has been given. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Madam Speaker, I was whispering to Honorable Tayangwa that I'm looking forward one day to have a female president in this country. I'm saying so because, and I can believe what she's saying there. Yes, there's coordination, there's commitment, so I'm sure the Turiro at some point will be attended to. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a compliment. Would you want to comment on your compliment? Thank you very much. That goes for the women. So we make progress. The next question, the Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for the people of Katombola constituency in Kazungura district to ask question number 311. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member for Katombola to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a three-part question. A, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate the Mulobezi railway line, which is in a deplorable state. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And last in part C, Madam Speaker, what the cost of the project is. In response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Katombola Parliamentary Constituency, I wish to inform this August House as follows. A, government indeed does have plans to rehabilitate the Mulobezi railway line, as it is a vital and critical link that connects Zambia Railways Limited railway line to the Western Province. However, due to the limited resources allocated to Zambia Railways Limited for the full rehabilitation of the railway network, including the Mulobezi railway line, the government in 2025 will focus on attending to critical sections of the railway line in order to increase the speeds for freight from 15 kilometers per hour to 20 kilometers per hour, and for passenger from 20 kilometers per hour to 25 kilometers per hour. Madam Speaker, in Part B, the government plans to rehabilitate critical sections of the Mulobezi railway line before the end of the year 2025 and 2026. In Part C, Madam Speaker, the total cost for the rehabilitation of Mulobezi railway line is estimated at 85 million United States dollars. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Just an appeal, honorable members. Let's tone down. There's a lot of exchanging of ideas, but you are doing it so loud that you are not even following the proceedings. Supplementary questions, the honorable member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I appreciate the response from the Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics. But the state of Livingstone Mulobezi railway line in a very bad state, because I was privileged with my committee just last week. We went there, and the train, a distance of 162-63 kilometers, travels for about 2 days. In some portions, Madam Speaker, even as we inspected, the train, immediately we left it, it derailed. Every trip going, it derails, coming back, it derails. It needs urgent attention.
Order, sorry, honorable member for Shangombo. There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable member for Lunte, what's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for according me this opportunity to raise a point of order on the Honorable Muvika, the MP for Shangombo. Madam Speaker, if you allow me, before I raise my point of order, allow me to congratulate my friend and my brother, Honorable Sialuvalo, on his appointment as Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Congratulations.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Shangombo cannot come here to mislead the House by indicating that the train moves for 2 days on a stretch of 162 kilometers, when he's very much aware that in fact this train takes 5 days. Because when the submission was given, he was actually leading the dedication. Is he aware to reduce 5 days to 2 days, Madam Speaker, just to make it appear as though the train actually is tendering a good service to the people when the people are suffering? Madam Speaker, I seek your serious ruling on this matter.
The honorable member, there cannot be a point of order on a point of order. Okay, let me first deal with one point of order, and then we can. So the honorable member for Lunte now is debating their report that they did in the committee. I'm sure what the honorable member for Shangombo is saying, you are on the same page actually. You are saying the people of Mulobezi or the people who are using are suffering. Whether it's 2 times or 5 times, doesn't matter, they are suffering. So what is the honorable minister doing about this? So you are on the same page. It's just maybe maybe mistook 5 for 2 or something, you know, sometimes. Or maybe there were instances when sometimes it was 2 days, sometimes 5 days. We are just speculating. You are the people that are in the committee. When the committee report is presented, then you can discuss in detail all these issues. So the honorable member for Shangombo is okay, is not out of order. May you continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Sorry, before you continue, there is an indication for another point of order. Honorable member for Chama South, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this point of order is on the Honorable Member for Shangombo. This is a house of order and rules, Madam Speaker.
Is the honorable member for Shangombo in order to start debating his committee report, which has not been presented on the floor of this House, to an extent where they've even started arguing as committee members over a report that has not, contents of the report that has not been presented on the floor of this House? I seek your serious ruling. Is he in order? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Of course, we cannot debate the report before it's presented, but now we have a question that is before this House, which is touching on the same issues. So the members of the committee have an added advantage because they have inside information which they can quietly bring in order to make sure that the minister is brought aware to these challenges that this rail line is facing. So the honorable member for Shangombo is in order. May he continue?
2-0. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what I was trying to say is that the rail track is in a very bad state. Some rail sleepers are actually rotten, so that the train takes the number of days from 3 to 5 days one way. And that the same train it has wagons for cargo and how do you call them, coaches for passengers. It's one train. So even when you are talking of improving the speed from 15 to 20, it's the same train which pulls cargo, cattle, and other farm produce, timber, and on the same train there are passengers. The issue is, I'm not satisfied with the response from the minister where he's saying by the end of the year. The train, Madam Speaker, needs urgent attention. What short-term measures are the Ministry of Transport has for the people of Mulobezi to be assisted urgently? Because it's the only mode of transport going to Mulobezi from Livingstone. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Madam Speaker, thank you. And also I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the state of the Mulobezi railway line is not in question. It is actually a matter of fact that yes, this line is completely dilapidated. And this is as a result of many years of neglect of this very critical line. It appears as though those that were here before me may have forgotten that actually Zambians live in this part of the country. There has been no effort in the past to rectify this situation. This new Dawn administration is the first administration in many years, perhaps since the colonial days, that we are making a genuine attempt to fix the railway subsector, which we realize that if we do not sort out the railway subsector, Zambia stands little chance to lower the cost of doing business by lowering the cost of transportation. When the honorable members talk about what short-term measures, this is precisely what we're talking about. Because what government is doing is literally offering a social service just to allow our people, regardless of the number of days, that they can actually move from one point to another. We are making a genuine effort, Madam Speaker, just like we are on the brink of success with concession in Tazara, which is also bringing focus onto Zambia Railways and how these two must be sorted out. Had we had the fiscal space, this administration would not waste time but to put necessary resources that the entire line from Chirilabombwe to Livingstone is actually fixed. This will help us alleviate the maintenance cost on maintaining our roads. Therefore, fellow members must be aware of this notorious fact that this administration is fully aware and that every effort is being made to ensure that sooner rather than later we will fix our rail network notwithstanding the Livingstone to Sesheke via Mlowezi. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Madam Minister, for your response. Now, Honourable Minister, could you clarify who owns the Mlowezi Railway line, in view of the fact that Zambia Railways doesn't appear to own that railway line? I say this also to find out whether you have any intention merely to just maybe give a concessionaire to run that particular railway line, since at the moment government has issues on fiscal space. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Katombora for that follow-up question. I must state unequivocally that yes, the Mlowezi line some time back was not under Zambia Railways, but owing to its dilapidated state, like I stated, that the government is offering a social service. We since moved in that Zambia Railways must be able to take care of that particular track. The Honourable Member will recall that, as a matter of fact, it must have been perhaps 2023, we did have a serious problem on a bridge on that particular line, and that my ministry had to put aside some couple of million kwachas that will attend to that problem, which was posing a serious threat of a potential accident. So yes, the line is under Zambia Railways, and that should not be in doubt. When the Honourable Member speaks about concessioning, you cannot concession the track in the state that it is in, and even if you are to entice the private sector, you have to look at the potential for freight business coming from that part of the country. It may not be commercially viable, and that is why I'm using the terminology that we are actually offering a social service, because these are our citizens and we cannot neglect them. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Kantanshi.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. I think the response from the Minister, well, it's good, but very concerning, because as I was seated here, I was thinking about the Lobito corridor and the value that it's supposed to add, meaning that Zambia Railways will be equally beneficiary from that investment. So if that is the case, and we all know as we are here that government will not be able to have $85 million that easily, considering the competing needs that we have in the country. When we look at with that investment that is coming, Honourable Minister, are you sure that if private sector was engaged, they wouldn't have that interest, considering the business that will be taking place using that corridor? I might be wrong, but maybe I would like to hear from you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Although the matter is relating to, the question is relating to Mlowezi railway line, but I believe there is an interlink. I don't know if the Honourable Minister can just address that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Kantanshi for that question. I actually believe that the Honourable Member should have been paying attention, because I actually did mention that there is a serious effort that is being made to be able to resuscitate the railway subsector, and this is why you have referred to the Lobito corridor and the prospects that it will bring to this country. There is also the efforts that are being made to concession Tazara, and if you recall, I did actually create that linkage and say, because of the two corridors that we are re-establishing in the case of Tazara and establishing in the case of the Lobito, we are getting a lot of interest in the Zambia Railways line. The interest is not coming from private sector, obviously. It's coming from cooperating partners such as the European Union. We all realize that in order for the Lobito and indeed the Tazara to be fully functional and efficient, the missing link shall be the Zambia Railways line, because that is what is going to provide that linkage from east to west coast. So there is a lot of work that is happening in the background, except that it may be premature for me to actually bring details on the floor of this House as to how far we're going. But there is a very, very serious interest that's being shown that we revitalize our national rail network, the Zambia Railways. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, you said that the Mlobezi train now belongs to Zambia Railways. When did it start belonging to Zambia Railways, and why hasn't Zambia Railways put money there? Because the other parts of the railway line in Zambia is working very well. What has been the problem with the Mlobezi railway line? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
I will encourage the honourable member who has just given that supplementary question, Madam Speaker, to take keen interest in a holistic picture. It is not true that the other section away from the Mulwezi line is actually working efficiently. When we speak about the 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, it is actually the entire stretch from Chilelabombwe to Livingstone. And that we all know Zambia Railways has had major problems with finances. It's unfortunate, Madam Speaker, that not many years ago, we heard of a Eurobond and $120 million that was earmarked to go to improvement of operations of the Zambia Railways. Alas, Madam Speaker, that amount of money did nothing to improve operations of the Zambia Railways. So this administration will look at problems holistically, and we shall not segregate, that the entire stretch will be looked at, notwithstanding even the Mlobezi line. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member from Pika, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Standing Order number 71 is very instructive on what kind of information must be given to the public through their House, which is Parliament. The Honorable Minister on the floor of the House has endeavored to mislead the public that the Eurobond, which was gotten and allocated to help resuscitate Zambia Railways, did nothing. Madam Speaker, as a public officer myself, 2 weeks ago, I was in Kabwe interacting with workers under Zambia Railways. And I was privy to see the equipment which was bought using the same Eurobond. The money was properly utilized. And a report, Madam Speaker, is coming on the floor of this House. Is in order, Madam Speaker, therefore, instead of providing accurate information and also being concerned that the people of Mlobezi spend 5 days, Madam Speaker, on a stretch of 162 kilometers.
Order, Honorable Member, are you debating or raising a point of order?
Is in order, Madam Speaker, therefore, to veer off from the subject and taking responsibility, and he starts misleading the public with very false information. Madam Speaker, I seek your very serious ruling so that this does not repeat itself of the public being misled using their House. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much. The only problem that I'm having is that the honorable members of the Committee on Transport, they are preempting their report by debating the report before it's presented before the House ready for debate. There was a question about the Eurobond. So the minister is responding that nothing was done. Is the Minister of Transport and Logistics. I think even all of us, we know that Zambia Railways is not working. Because if it was working, how is it doing 15 kilometers per hour, surely? So there must be something wrong there. But we'll wait for your report. When your report comes, then it can be discussed in detail. But when the Honorable Minister is in a reference saying that the Eurobond did nothing, the Honorable Minister for Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to just perhaps give context to the statement that I made. And I am fully cognizant of the facts that I've stated on the floor of this House. I actually happen to know a thing or two, perhaps more, than the Honourable Member. Very little, if at all, was taken to the core business of Zambia Railways. I am aware, Madam Speaker, that a fair portion of that amount of money also went to refurbishing of the headquarters at Zambia Railways in Kabwe. Let us not bring in issues of sins of our past, because we may have been the ones that actually supplied materials for the refurbishment of those particular offices, and that vehicles were bought. We are talking about helping a company that is limping to be able to get back on its tracks, and this was not done. Hence, Madam Speaker, the speed of 15 kilometers per hour, even Usain Bolt can run faster than our locomotive train at Zambia Railways. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Lunte, please take your seat. Take your seat first. Honorable members, as I earlier guided, let's not debate the report. In actual fact, if this issue was in the report, was discussed by the committee, this question should have not been presented. Yeah, so that the fact that it has been presented again, I think is a challenge from our side. It should not have been presented because we cannot avoid touching what is contained in the report. So maybe we leave it at that. We leave it at that. Honorable Member for Lunte, you wanted to raise another point of order? Or to ask a question? What's the point of order? We should not debate the points of order.
Yes, thank you so much. And I take advantage of the fact that you gave quite some latitude for the minister to rule on his point of order, and he squandered the opportunity. Madam Speaker, the minister is fully aware that 120 million United States dollars cannot even buy 2 wagons. But 2 wagons cannot be bought by that amount of money.
Is that a point of
It's
order?
a point of order,
a
madam.
debate? No, that's not
It is a point of order.
What
madam.
is the breach? What is the breach?
The breach is that in the thinking of the minister, he thinks that $120 million can rehabilitate Zambia Railways. Isn't that a mockery? Isn't that a mockery, madam? Madam Speaker, is the minister in order? He has been in the ministry for 4 years, and he thinks that to rehabilitate Zambia Railways, you need an amount of close to $120 million. Is Zambia Railways going to go anywhere, Madam Speaker, with this kind of thinking? When $120 million cannot even buy 2 wagons.
Honorable
2 wagons. 1 wagon, madam, is 80 million to 100 million.
What is the breach, honorable member? What is the breach?
Is number 1 the thinking, number 2, madam, misleading the people, and it is based on 71, which requires the minister to provide information
honorable
properly,
member
madam.
for Lunte, please take your seat. Let's not, when there is a breach, is the minister's thinking on the floor of the House for it to be a breach? Let's not be emotional. Let's just debate and ask questions. Now, ask your question, but please do not bring the issues in your report on the floor of the House. That will be the last question. Ask your question.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you referred to the fact that Zambia Railways, or should I say Mulobezi rail line, is dilapidated to the core because of many years of neglect. I would like to agree with you and add that the many years includes the 4 years you have been minister. Honorable Minister, now that you have been minister for 4 years, adding to the many years of neglect, to that Mulobezi rail line, considering the suffering of the people, taking 5 days to cover a distance of 162 kilometers, what are your immediate interventions to ensure that you improve the speed from 5 kilometers per hour to a minimum of 30 kilometers per hour, so you can reduce the traveling time from 5 days to at most 1 day? Madam Speaker, thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for asking indeed a very, very cogent question. I would like to state for the record, Madam Speaker, that even in today's economy, for instance, a locomotive will not cost anything more than $10 million, even if it's General Electric. And obviously wagons are far much cheaper. When the Honourable Member refers to what immediate plans my ministry can undertake to improve the current situation, that perhaps we may see speeds going up to 30 kilometers per hour, I want to state for the record, and that indeed this is for the reason why perhaps the Honourable Member may be getting emotive, because, Madam Speaker, the previous administration left us with no room to maneuver. This country has been heavily indebted to the extent that we are not able to borrow for such infrastructure projects. We wish we did not inherit a bankrupt economy, because we would have definitely sought interventions that we invest critical resources into such critical transport infrastructure. But for the debt that you left us, indeed, it becomes extremely difficult for us to make immediate interventions. But we're working on it. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
I think let's make progress and leave that for future debates. The next question, the Honourable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 312.
The Honourable Minister of Green Economy, or Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment, or the Honourable Member for Lunte, please. That's not the way to behave. And if you are punished, you say you will start complaining. We have a lot of work to do. Let's work in harmony with each other. I don't know what that, I can't read it from here, whatever you are saying. But the way of you standing up and talking as you are walking, I think that is demeaning to the whole house. Okay, because we can give you time to go outside and then you can point at each other better. That way, when we are not seeing. Okay, then, okay. It's okay, you can proceed. You are going outside? I hope you come back because... Okay, proceed. The Honourable Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, Honourable Chinga Miuti, Member of Parliament for Kalawa Central, has asked the Minister of Green Economy and Environment what measures government is taking to enhance research on climate change mitigation in the country. Madam Speaker, for ease of explanation, climate change mitigation refers to actions taken to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and their levels in the atmosphere, ultimately aiming to limit global warming. Government, Madam Speaker, recognizes a critical role of research in driving effective climate change actions in the country. In this regard, we've undertaken several concrete measures to enhance research, particularly in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, sustainable forest management, and carbon sequestration, while ensuring that research findings into policy inform policy and practice. Some of the practical ways in which we are enhancing research on climate change mitigation include the following, Madam Speaker. 1, government is strengthening partnerships with universities, research institutions, and international organizations to enhance climate research. For example, through departments such as the Green Economy and Climate Change, Forestry, and the Zambia Meteorological Department, government is working closely with universities and research institutions, including the University of Zambia, the Copperbelt University, the National Institute for Scientific and Industrial Research, and the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, ZARI, to enhance research on climate-smart solutions. 2, just last month, my ministry, in conjunction with the Food and Agriculture Organization, under the Facility for Climate Empowerment for Implementing National Determined Contributions project, awarded 15 fully funded scholarships to focus on climate change and renewable energy. 10 of those scholarships are at PhD level, while 5 are at master's level, and these are being undertaken at the University of Zambia. Lastly, Madam Speaker, government through the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, under the Supporting Preparedness for Article 6 Cooperation, that's PAC 6 project, has been supporting students through a research mentorship program by providing them with a stipend and mentorship while attached to the project as they undertake their research at both master's and PhD levels. So far, students have completed their internship at master's level, and another cohort of 4 students have been engaged. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for the response. I would like to find out further if there is that commitment in research to mitigate the climate change. How does that research, or how has that research trickled to the village where you find rampant charcoal burning? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, combating climate change is a collective action from the industries to individuals. One of the ways individuals will participate in ensuring that mitigation measures are apt is ensuring that, obviously, maybe from the definition, you need the mitigation measures, basically are measures or are actions which ultimately reduce CO2 emissions. The Ministry of Green Economy and Environment has been, for a long time, has been talking to Zambians, several citizens, to ensure that all the actions they take as they live their livelihoods are climate efficient. For example, individuals or Zambians are encouraged to use public transport or cycle instead of driving. This is because cars utilize diesel which are very, very high CO2 emitters. We also need to conserve energy by basically turning off lights and appliances when not in use. We also have to ensure that we support companies and organizations in their various productive ventures. They need to be incentivized to ensure that they use energy efficiency and obviously conserve this energy. Our people themselves they are being reminded that through their actions, for example, deforestation, the rainfall patterns are changing. Life is becoming harder and harder because as a result of climate change, most areas are receiving less and less rainfall. Their production and productivity in agriculture is reducing. Madam Speaker, one of the hard ways individuals are suffering is on the boreholes, for example. Nowadays, you have to go to 120 meters to drill boreholes and find water. In the olden days, you only had to drill 50, 60 meters. The costs are escalating. So we are seeing all these effects of climate change, and therefore most of our individuals are contributing to the mitigation measures necessary to ensure that climate change is stopped. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now that the Minister's in his answers has included cars, Madam Speaker, I just want to know how much money is government, or in terms of percentages, if possible, if he has the information, how much money is the government spending to fight climate change using the carbon fees each vehicle pays through LATSA? Because we are talking about climate change, and the vehicles are the ones which are emitting a lot of carbon. So how much money are we paying, is government using to combat the climate change through the money the Zambians are paying when paying for road licenses at LATSA? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Although that sounds like a new question, I don't know if the Honorable Minister would have the information.
Madam Speaker, since the figures were not asked, I encourage my fellow member of parliament to visit our offices so that we can furnish him with the correct information. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chifubu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the issue of climate change cut across a number of ministries. What efforts are you making at level to promote research and development to mitigate this climate change that is affecting the country? Thank you.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Again, when you look at my submissions, we said we've undertaken several concrete measures to enhance research, particularly in renewable energy. Already, this means that we are working very, very closely with the Ministry of Energy. The Ministry of Energy, because of obviously the energy, it's the energy provision itself, where you have to burn the fossil fuels, reducing climate change is very, very key in that sector. Again, I talked about sustainable agriculture. We are doing a lot in this area, and one of the ways actually we are mitigating climate change is by ensuring that there's less deforestation as a result of agriculture activities. This is basically by increasing productivity in the various areas where we farm. The more there is productivity, the less land you use, obviously the less forest you degrade. Sustainable forest management is another one. Carbon sequestration is another one, as well as obviously research, informing research and practice. So all the sectors of the economy, in fact that's why it's called the green economy, all the practices across all the sectors of the economy have to be greened if we have to combat climate change. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Kalabo Central, do you have another question? Okay, thank you. So we make progress. Next question, the Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
I'm sorry. It's supposed to be the Honorable Member for Mulobezi. Sorry, apologies, Honorable Member.
This question.
Sorry?
I want to withdraw this question
Oh, okay, you withdraw it when we get to it. Sorry, apologies. The Honorable Member for Mulobezi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question is 313. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Mabenga is asking sport and arts the following questions. A, how many professional golfers the country produced from 2016 to 2021? B, whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate golf infrastructure countrywide. In C, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and in D, what measures are being taken to improve the sport in the country. Madam Speaker, I need to be protected by my fellow ministers are giving me problems.
Can we listen to the Honorable Minister as he delivers his answer, his response? You may proceed, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in A, our answer to our Member of Parliament for Mulobezi is that your government, Honorable, through Zambia Golf Union, produced 121 professional golfers during the period 2016 to 2021. And they were produced as follows. In 2016, we had 20 professional golfers. In 2017, we had 20 professional golfers. In 2018, we also had 20. In 2019, we had also 20 professional golfers. 2020, 20 professional golfers. We had 21 professional golfers in 2021. Answering B, my Member of Parliament may wish also to note that the golf infrastructure in the country has not been owned by government. Rather, this infrastructure falls under either local councils, trusts, private institutions, and individuals. Maybe the only one is which is under State House. That could only be the one that the government owns. All these others are owned by private individuals, local authorities, trusts, and also private institutions. In this regard, government does not have the jurisdiction, neither does it have plans to rehabilitate this infrastructure. Nevertheless, your government has been engaging the owners of these facilities to ensure routine maintenance and rehabilitation of golf infrastructure are enhanced in the country. In C, obviously, the honorable member has indicated in B that your government has no plans to rehabilitate a golf infrastructure. In D, government has put in place, honorable member, through Madam Speaker, the following measures to improve sport in the country. And these are some of the measures. Honorable member, you might be aware that the development and launch of the 2024 National Sports Policy and its implementation plan, which the country has never had for the past decade. There was no sports policy. Two, another area that we are using is also to increase our budgetary allocation for sports development
to about 70%. The first ever in the history of this country, which in turn has led to the increase in bonuses for athletes. The third one is also to enhance coordination of sporting activities with the Ministries of Defense, Home Affairs and Internal Security, Education, and the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts to support talent identification and development. Number 4, increased financial and material support to all the 57 sports associations or federations. Number 5, the actualization of equal pay for both the female athletes and also the male athletes. The first ever, again, in the history of this country, where you equate these bonuses to both men and women. The decentralization of community sport program to all the 116 local authorities with matching resources of 30 million kwacha in order to increase participation of citizens in various sporting activities. The number 7, increased stakeholder engagement such as banks, companies and individuals to facilitate the development of sport infrastructure and procurement of sports equipment. The ministry also has been working in collaboration with members of parliament on the plans to establish multi-sports facilities in all the 156 constituencies. And lastly, the recently launched Rural Sports Development Program, where this ministry, my ministry, through the National Sports Council of Zambia, will be distributing and we started distributing sports equipment to various sports clubs in all the districts. I'm aware we are in Mongu, you saw what we are doing in Kaputa, and also there's also another district. So very soon we'll be going to other districts for the launch. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Mulobezi.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to find out, Honorable Minister, that's a good report, but I just want to find out whether golf also has got a budget. Is there a budget for the Zambia Golf Union? Thank you.
Sorry, the Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and the Honourable Member, thank you for that follow-up question. Indeed, we only have one allocation for all the 58 sports federations. But in there, each and every federation has its vote. So as they prepare to go for tournaments, as they prepare to go and represent Zambia, they always write to the National Sports Council of Zambia for an allocation so that they can fulfill the fixture. So I may not say that golf alone has this budget, but we have a budget that they can draw from. Each and every federation can draw from that. That's why I think you have seen that all federations that are going outside the country are well helped, well assisted by the ministry so that they fulfill the fixtures. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Iteji.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, it's undisputable that you are doing quite a good job. And thank you for demonstrating also other fundings that are going now to the constituencies. Now, Minister, the Honorable has asked the question. I'm sure he is also looking forward to having a golf course in Morobezi. Now, Minister, from the monies the councils are getting now, how are you collaborating with the local authorities so that they can think around, not just focusing on football, but also look at the other sporting ventures? Because it's just football. The people of Morobezi, they also want to start
playing golf. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. And Honorable Member, thank you for the compliment. Madam Speaker, leaders always get motivated when they are complimented. It is very, very important that when the government is doing extremely well, people need to appreciate. And when you are appreciated, you are motivated even to do more. So thank you very much, Honorable Member. Coming to your question, indeed, the 30 million that I talked about, which we have given to community sport in all the local authorities, I've received concerns from members of parliament that they are in fact not participating, fully participating in implementation of these important sports activities. But I think that we have now come up with guidelines that may compel these local authorities to involve community leaders. And when we are talking about community leadership, this starts from the member of parliament, is a community leader. The district commissioner is a community leader. Councillors, council chairmen, mayors, these are community leaders who are supposed to participate in sports activities in their respective districts and constituencies. So, Honorable Member, with those guidelines that have been created now, just be rest assured that indeed you'll be participating in all the activities of your constituencies when it comes to sports activities. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Petauke Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the Petauke residents wants to know 2 days ago, how can one become a professional golfer? Is it because of money or it is a talent, inborn talent? Why have I asked so? Because these golf courses, they are only found in well-to-do cities. Yeah. What are the qualifications or what makes one to become a professional golfer? Is it only for rich people or even an inborn talent for one to qualify to become a professional golfer? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There is no sport for the rich. Every sport is for everyone. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next question, Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With leave of the House, I beg to withdraw the question because the block is being built. I think this question was an odd question. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Leave granted. The question is accordingly withdrawn. As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business of the House has been suspended for a 20-minute health break. And so we expect business of the House to resume at about 17 hours. And at the time, Madam Speaker was suspending business. Chitambo Member of Parliament, Mr. Remember Mutale, standing in his place, sought leave to withdraw the question. This is question number 314. He was supposed to direct it to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, where he wanted to find out when the construction of infrastructure for Chitambo District Administration Block will commence and what the cause of the delay in commencing the project is. So this question has been withdrawn. So just now we look at some of the business that has been considered on the floor of the House from the time business resumed at 14:30.
Madam Speaker, I did make 2 announcements, and in the first announcement, Madam Speaker did inform the House that as part of the ongoing constitutional reforms process, the National Assembly of Zambia, through the Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, has organized a one-day awareness raising and capacity building workshop. Madam Speaker added that the purpose of this workshop is to enhance members' understanding of the proposed amendments to the Constitution.
Madam Speaker said all honorable members are requested to attend the workshop, which will take place on Monday, 16th June 2025 at Parliament Building starting at 09 hours. And she urged honorable members to be punctual for the meeting and also encouraged them to take full advantage of the important training.
In the second announcement, Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Fradon School in Lusaka district. And on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly of Zambia.
After those two announcements, we had a ministerial statement that was delivered by the Minister of Energy, Honorable Makozo Chikote MP. This ministerial statement was on the electricity situation in the country, and so we'll be able to share with you the details of the ministerial statement and the questions that have been considered on the floor of the House. So far, this is business that has been considered. Just now, we go on a break. Remember, business of the House will resume at about 17 hours. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.
Zambia's education system is undergoing a major transformation with the rollout of the 2023 Zambia Education Curriculum Framework. To support this national effort, the National Assembly of Zambia Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education,